Kelley, can you tell us about your kids and grandkid?
Well, of course I can. First of all, you as my firstborn and my oldest, that was a major miracle in itself. And then I have Sierra, who is 16, and then a beautiful, beautiful granddaughter who's 3, about to be 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we'll talk about my others.
How has being a mom and grandmother changed your life?
I can't imagine not being a mother. I became a mother when I was 21 for the first time. And that's very young in today's standards, but back in my day it was not. It was about normal to become a mother around that time. So I can't imagine not being a mother. Of course, being a grandmother is awesome.
Is it like raising a teenager and an adult?
Well, hopefully the adult part is finished. No, you're always continuing to pray and uplift, but with the adult, it's different because now you and I can talk. You understand where I'm coming from a little bit more now that you're a mom.
Right.
Now what I say kind of resonates, and it's not a rebellious kind of thing going on of me telling you what to do. It's like, oh my goodness, I see that for my own daughter. So it becomes better. There is hope out there. There's light at the end of the tunnel. This teenager thing is awesome. It is amazing when it's a girl because the emotions, the hormones, the drama that goes on with it. But I think our kids are our best teachers. I really do, because they're a mirror of what we do, and when they're doing things we don't like, it's because we've probably instilled something in them or done something that they've picked up on. Not always, but a lot of times that's what happens. So it is different, but I love it. I was thinking the other day, I will always have children, because by the time you have your children, Sierra will just begin starting her family. So it will always be little ones around the house, which is such a blessing.
Can you tell us a little about the obstacles you faced during the times you were pregnant?
Yes, I can. And I can talk about that now without completely laying on the floor and squalling. But first of all, with you, as I said, I was 21. I was put into bed rest for about 2.5 months with you. Had to leave work, completely shut myself down. I was only allowed to go from the bed to the bathroom, and that was it. And that had to be within the same room for 2.5 months. Right before you were born, in fact, I kept going into premature labor. Right before you were born, in fact, while I was in labor, which was 23 hours, the doctor came out and told my family, they didn't tell me, but they told my family that there was a heart issue going on with you, whether it was something they saw irregular or whatever, but they already had med flight on standby to get you to a different hospital for surgery. So they came out and told my family, and my mother went immediately to the phone and called one of the elders of the church that she was attending. And they were all at one place there that day. They were practicing for something, and they immediately started praying. My grandmother was there, and she said that she could hear the floor just rumble as they all hit their knees. And within 10 minutes, Mother said the doctor came back out and said everything's fine. We're going to go ahead and deliver. She's fine. So we did years after you were born. I had a son. Went to bed. Had to go to bed rest for 3 months with him. He was born in May 21st. He would be, let's see, how old are you? And
28.
Okay, so he would be around 25 now. He was full term, but he was born stillborn. After 3 months of bed rest and labor, he was stillborn. And my world collided. It was like this perfect little bubble that I had a picture of just erupted. And but I can tell you that the peace of God that people talk about is real, because that peace entered that delivery room. The nurses were crying. The doctor was crying. My pastor was there. He was crying. There wasn't anybody with a dry eye, but there was a peace of God that had settled in that room. And it was such a witness to everybody that was there, about what was happening. So I do remember my doctor coming to me right after they got everybody out of the room, and they were getting me prepped to go to a room overnight. And I remember my doctor holding my hand and looking at me, and she looked at me and she said, you have a choice to make. She said, you can either run to your God or you can run away from him. You have a choice to make. And it's amazing how we walked through that. Not bringing him home, but instead of bringing him home, we took him to the funeral home and went through the whole process. And it was beyond words. It was beyond words. But even today, it's a witness to people. And so he was beautiful. Michael Cole was beautiful. 5 pounds, 16 ounces. He's a beautiful boy. And but he's still, he's still with us. And God has a plan and a purpose that we know after that he does. If there is picking yourself up after that, I went through a long bitterness after that. I was mad at God. I don't mind saying that. I was mad at him. I did not understand why having children was so hard for me when it was so easy for some others. And I had seen children, be abused. I'd seen children be neglected, and I just couldn't understand. And I was really struggling with that. I was really screaming out to him. I was mad at him. Even every time I saw a lady who was pregnant, it would hurt. And it was really hard for me to deal with. But about 5 years, he took me through a process about 5 years after Michael Cole was born of that. And I finally got to the point where I was able then to witness to other mothers who had gone through the same thing. And I thought that was it. And I lost 3 others after that during different stages of pregnancy. So I had 3 miscarriages after that. And then 12 years later, I had a dream one night of a little blonde-headed girl playing ball. And I knew that he was telling me there was one,
Any
one more
advice for
child.
any women that might be going through some of that same struggles?
Give yourself a break. Give yourself time. There's no way to describe it. Do not think that you owe everybody an explanation, because not everybody's going to understand. And if you're trying to comfort someone that's going through that, don't come up with the answers, because you don't have them. Only God has those answers. Don't be fake about it. If you're hurting, you're hurting. And it's okay. And sometimes it's just like, so many times we saw in the Bible that they'll come and try to fix, but it's not to fix something. Sometimes it's just to sit with you, just to be with you and just to hug on you, love on you. And I can remember one time, or many times, telling women who've gone through that, and after they've gotten out of the crowd, I will single them out and go to them and I'll say, listen, that 2 o'clock in the morning when you're sitting in the bathroom floor by yourself and you've cried all you can cry and there's nothing else there and your guts are poured out because that's the time that everybody's asleep and it's just you and it all hits you. I said, when you get to that point and you need somebody to call me.
What has been your favorite memory thus far of being a mom?
Oh, wow.
If you could think of just one.
I cannot think of just one. Being a mom is such a challenge. It's definitely not for the cowardly people. But actually, I could say individual time with you and CC and each one of you individually. We've had some good time together, girls' time and all kinds of holidays and things of that nature, but just individual time when I have that chance to know that we've connected and that we've, shared some special times, but especially when I see y'all being ministered to, when I see God really touching your lives and pouring out to you. And I can remember Sierra one time when she was probably about 2.5, 3 years old. And she was somewhere in the house, and we were living in a different house. I couldn't find her. And I looked everywhere for her, and she was down in front of my bed on her knees praying by herself. And I thought, oh wow, okay, I'm not going to interrupt this moment. So moments like that are just priceless.
If Sierra and me and Addie see this 20 years from now, pretend like I'm not here, what would you hope that you would pass on to us, or words of wisdom you want to give us?
Oh wow. That you're loved unconditionally, that you're here for a purpose, that don't try to be somebody else, because you were created to do what you were created to do. He puts you here for a purpose, to do one thing, and that's to witness and love others for him. So don't try to do it like anybody else. Do it the way he designed you to do it. And know that you're amazing, because you're mine. You're his first, but you're mine too.